I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning, everybody. Well, a happy Tuesday to all across the Delaware Valley. What a night last night. And it was simply Citizens Bank Park as the Phillies welcome in the Brewers, right? Good team. So for all those people saying, Phillies don't beat a good team, right? Good lineup that was raking, and Zach Wheeler shut them down. But we'll get into that in a little bit. The real story, again, was the vibes. The vibes at the ballpark, this time to welcome home Rhys Hoskins. And it was just an awesome night, right? It worked out perfectly. The Phillies win. The lone run was a Hoskins home run. He gets thrown out at the plate. Like, it was just one of those nights. And it was so Citizens Bank Park. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we're brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. That's right. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop into your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. And listen, I heard from a couple buddies, right? What are they, for real? What do they got to cheer? Why they cheering Hoskins? Who's Rhys? I couldn't stand Rhys Hoskins. He was a butcher at first base. He was not so streaky. Wherever you feel about Rhys Hoskins, forget it. Put that to the side for a moment. It was less about Rhys, and quite frankly, I like Rhys, but less about Rhys and more about the fans' reaction to a guy that had a moment, right? To a long-standing Philly who had a big moment against Strider and the Braves during that amazing run. And the outpouring and the beauty of love toward Rhys was exactly what the vibes of this whole team's about. It's the vibes of the ballpark. It's something so different, so unique, that of course they were going to cheer Rhys Hoskins. Of course, even the boos, which were not malicious boos after the home run, turned into cheers, right? Like, it was just that kind of moment that this ballpark and this fan base has instilled. That's the culture. The culture of Citizens Bank Park and surrounding the Phillies is that of warmth and love. It's completely so foreign to sports. Yeah, it's about the Phillies winning, of course. There was let's not get it twisted. Because they were cheering Rhys, it didn't mean that they were wanting the Phillies to lose. Of course not. But it was just paying homage to a guy that was a part of us, right? He was. Say what you want. He was here for a long time, right? And, listen, he had a great eye. He was a right-handed power bat. I thought they could have used him last year, right? I was hoping he was going to be able to come back because right-handed power bat would work the count. Remember what happened against Arizona in 6 and 7? A guy working the count like that could have changed things. But whatever. That's not even the point. The point is that this fan base reacts with that sort of emotion. And that's unique across stadiums and arenas across the country. You don't find that. This is something special that needs to be cherished, right? And each of these moments, and it was cool, right? Like, so we go into where Hoskins steals second, and then there's the base hit, and Rojas with a gun throw, right? JT tags him and then pats him on the ass walking back. I mean, it was fabulous. In fact, Fransky says, here they are, two buddies playing at the Sandlot. And that's kind of what the whole thing was, man. And if you want to call it saccharine, or you want to call it, a little, that kind of way. I'm sorry. I think it's beautiful, man. I freaking love it. I love every story. It's a June game, early June game, and the Phillies win. Listen, they are 42-19. And last night, right, you get David Dahl call up. And you remember Dahl from the Rockies. Phillies had him, signed him to a minor league deal. Comes up, and look, they need some help in the outfield. And he's got a little pop, and he showed it last night. Home run Dahl. My man Eddie Wright, the best Dahl in the history of the Phillies, surpassing that Omar Dahl. So Dahl gets 2 hits, home run. Wheeler, 7 innings, 5 hits, a run, 3 strikeouts, 6 walks, 114 pitches. What a night. What an outing, right? Zach on his way to the Cy Young. We saw the Cy Young votes, the standings for the Cy Young, and it's Wheeler and Ranger and Nola. And Zach was tremendous again last night. He'll be off for a while, so it was great. You can stretch him out and go to 117 because you have the off day Thursday. You get the London series Saturday and Sunday, so you have a lot of the off days. So he's not pitching until the middle of next week. So you got a whole way of rest there. What a night. Again, 42-19. It was yet another momentous occasion that happened at Citizens Bank Park. And then the other thing, it's sure looking like, and we were talking about it off the air, it's sure looking like a 2009 rematch. How about this? Now, I know it's too early for playoffs, and we're not doing that, but both the Phillies and the Yankees, 42-19. The Yankees, Judge and Soto are out of their minds, and of course, we come at it with the pitching. So it's pretty. I got one eye out till like October, right? One eye out. Phillies Yankees would be outrageous. That would just be a fun series. Anyway. Just interesting because I didn't even realize that they were 42-19. Like, you think Phillies, they're scalding hot, but so are the Yankees. So it's actually it's a lot of fun. That's Popping Off, brought to you by Olipop. Find your favorite Olipop flavor at your nearest Wawa. We always love that. And let me tell you something about the show today. So coming up, Matt Gelb, who covers the Phillies for The Athletic, will join us at 9:25. We'll talk fightings. And then at 10 o'clock for the sit-down, Sean Padden. And I love college football, right? I love college sports. So Sean is the GM of Nebraska Football. He was here. He's a local guy, born and raised in the Delaware Valley. He's a great dude. Philadelphia through and through. He'll be coming back down the shore. But he's the GM at Nebraska with Matt. He was with Matt at Temple, Carolina Panthers, and now Nebraska. And I thought it'd be interesting to have a conversation about the world of college sports and paying players and what it is. It's a wild scene. So he's going to give us some insight in this sit-down about college sports. But, of course, the Phillies on the front lobe. Good morning, JP.
Buenos dias.
Good morning, VG. Greg Caputo, John Zapata.
Hello.
What do you say, boys? How about it last night?
How about them fightings?
Yeah, I think it went a little too far for me. And I'm a Rhys guy. I'm a Rhys guy.
What?
Yeah, I was
VG.
Yeah, I liked it all up until the song. He doesn't deserve the song. That's like a Chase Utley Cashmere. Like it's a World Series return. The standing ovation, great. The love, great. I'm out on the song. It's a crappy song. I don't want to hear.
It's not a good song. It's not a good song.
And he didn't deserve the song. He deserved everything else except the song.
So you go, put the song aside.
Yes. The quality of the song or just a song
Just
happening?
that song.
Yes.
Put that song aside.
Yeah.
The ovation.
Great.
The love. And whether you feel, because I heard from a lot of friends. I'm going to read you a text
Yeah.
from
Got
a
a text
buddy of
board over
mine.
there.
All right, but it's not the point. The point is that place is different.
Oh,
And we have to embrace that. Like, you want to embrace that place. That place is all about goodness.
You know what it is for me? Cause it's because, like, you know, you hear the national media talking about how we treat our players, right? We're too hard on them. But then you have a guy like Rhys Hoskins, who, granted, we were a little hard on him, but it was all in that brotherly love that we always talk about. And he comes back and we give him that standing ovation. Guys, it's not that hard. Rhys did put his, you know, he played his butt off here while he was here. And so we showed that love back. And I thought, you know, you may not like the walk up. I thought the whole night was pretty cool. Even like the steal in second base, you know, then JT Realmuto tagging him at home plate. Like, it was all a great story.
It was a great story. So here's a buddy of mine. Ready? Can you please explain all this slurping over Hoskins? I would have driven him to the airport when he left.
Oh, come on.
Right? Morons. I guess they would have applauded him if he hit the game-winning home run. I couldn't stand him. Streaky hitter and the world's worst first baseman.
Where do you go with the home run? Do you applaud or not applaud?
no, I'm not applauding a home run by an opposing player. Get the hell out of here. No way.
But again, it's not the point.
Okay.
The point is what these fans do.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
is
absolutely.
the story. It's part of and it's unique.
And I think one of the things with Rhys that I feel, and it was special him coming back last night, is the way he went out. Like, he's missing out on a great run right now. The greatest ballpark. They're the best team. It's the best
And he
atmosphere.
appreciated it.
And he was like a part of, like, you know, he was homegrown. He was here. And
It's part of the tough years.
the way he went out, if he didn't get injured, he still might be here. They might have extended him. Who knows? So there's like, you feel sorry that he's missing out on this.
Well, and I listen. I don't listen. We know about his glove at first and all that stuff. I get it.
He had a glove?
and right. And and listen, he wasn't a part of the plans. I mean, the minute Bryce goes to first, I mean, that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
And Bryce is actually a great first baseman. You know, it's
Yeah.
amazing, right? You just can't afford to have Schwarber and Hoskins in the same lineup.
Exactly.
But it's not even about any of that stuff. He was a homegrown figure, like you said, VG. He did have that amazing moment, the spike in the bat, Strider after the struggles, and the Padres series was amazing. So there's nothing wrong with all that love that was shown, and that's part of those fans, what they do. And as far as cheering a home run, it's context. You're winning the game. So they understand, like, if it was 3-3 and Hoskins hits a home run, they're not cheering. Like, you know they're not cheering.
Yeah.
It's about context.
It was like Chase Utley when he came back with the Dodgers.
It's not like Chase Utley. Chase Utley won a World Series. He's a Mets nemesis. It's a different level for me.
Not the same love, but
It's a different level. Chase was was obviously way more beloved than Rhys,
Part of
right,
an
than
important
Hoskins.
team.
So I get it. And it's funny. I had to what Steve, what my buddy said. Steve, what my buddy said, I understand where he's coming from. Like, believe me, I get it. But I think he's missing the big picture. And I actually had to, because I feel the same way. Like, you never cheer a guy coming home, and you never cheer a guy doing well on his return, right? Hitting a home run or whatever. You don't do that. Except here, the context works. And I guess that's kind of why I embrace it.
And don't forget, him and the wife, they bought hundreds of beers for the fans. They have a lot of goodwill here. And it was cool to see.
I did his charity, by the way. He had a charity. He would have he was a great charitable guy, Rhys. And I hosted his charity event a couple times over at V, right here on Broad Street.
Good dude, right?
He's a great dude.
Yeah.
And listen, the Phillies don't
Very
have
charitable.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, the Phillies don't have a long decorated history, right? These past couple of years have been a lot of freaking fun. And Rhys Hoskins, honestly, is one of those cornerstones of these past couple of years. And so when you see him getting that standing O, when you see him getting the video montage as well, I understood it fully. I mean, Rhys was an important part of the past couple of years.
I think what was special, what was really nice was rarely do you see them break like the game itself happening, and with them having fun with each other.
Yeah.
Like JT coming out just to pause the game so he can get his ovation, so there's no time clock. Great. Them smiling at each other when he steals a base. Great. And did you notice, like, when Rhys gets tagged out at home, he looks like he's running to the Phillies dugout by muscle memory. He takes a couple steps that direction, and he's like, "What the hell?" He's got to go back over to the Brewers side.
It was wild, and then and then JT pats him on the ass, like I mean that's beautiful.
Yeah, he gives the hug to Bryce Harper at
like
first.
that's beautiful, and here's the thing that bothers me, right?
Okay.
And see, when in our culture we meld everything together.
Okay.
So because we showed so much love to Rhys Hoskins, it then is, look, you're soft. We're so soft now. Well, that's not really true.
Right.
Like, there are some aspects where I do agree that we're way overly coddled and soft, but not there. This is not something that should be lumped into some sort of society soup, right? What's wrong with the ills? This is actually what's good about of today.
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Well, honestly, when I was watching like that standing O, I did get a little emotional because like of what I just said in the beginning. Like Philadelphia, especially the national media, always gets this like negative connotation, right? And seeing everyone stand up for Rhys Hoskins like that, I got proud of being a Philly sports fan in that moment because like that to me was just a beautiful scene, especially for Rhys Hoskins. So like I got a little emotional. Call me emotional.
Well, dude, I mean, listen. It's when you have that sort of outpouring of emotion, it's going to touch you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're human, you understand the human element. It's a cool thing. And
it was a beautiful scene.
This clubhouse and those players are tight.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like one of their buddies coming back, and you're playing. Fransky said it on the radio broadcast where he was like, like they're playing at the Sandlot. Like they're buddies at the Sandlot.
Yeah.
Like that's.
We
can all appreciate that.
It feels like we're all tight.
Yeah.
Even the fans. And going back to last year, we had hoped he came back to the World Series.
Right.
He never got his send off. Even if he would have came back and played last year, we knew he may not sign here. We could have gave him that walk off the field, round of applause.
It's not like you're looking at it now going, "I wish he was here." No,
right.
I mean you understand it. Like the right thing happened.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm getting crushed. They're saying I kick over sandcastles, I grab lemonade and stiff the kids. I'm going tonight, and I'm going to applaud him when he comes up for his first at bat. I like the guy. I just thought they went a little overboard. And am I okay going down and applauding tonight because it's the first time for his first at bat?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
BJ?
Yeah. Listen, it's a new. Here's how I look at the rule. Now you tell me if you guys agree. The first series, you can get applauded every night because there's new people that go to the game, right?
Yeah.
But after the first series, the statute's off. Like then gotta.
Yeah.
When he comes back into town, it's done.
Yes. It works for me.
If you're playing the playoffs, I'm booing him.
Yeah, whatever. Of course. I mean, like ultimately in the end, I mean that's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because look, I just go back to what this whole vibe is at that yard.
Yeah.
And it's so unique.
It's very special.
It is. I can't tell you when I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I've covered sports a long time. I can't tell you when I've seen this before.
In the run with 08, 09, we had like 2 years of straight sellouts. It still wasn't like this.
It wasn't.
The energy was not like it is right now.
No, it wasn't. And it could have been whether it was the Trey Turner thing last year.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's even different. The singing, the dancing, dancing on my own, that whole thing.
Yeah.
During the last 2 years of this whole run, it's been completely different.
Mm-hmm. Rick Sachs says, never cheer an opposing homer in a tight game. The ovation was amazing as always. After that, screw you.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I just keep going back to one thing. I don't want anything to change at that ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that ballpark, we're seeing something special, something almost bigger than all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I'm not trying to be like too dramatic about it, but when do you see this? I mean, this is a sellout crowd, like reacting like this every night.
Yeah.
This is different.
Well, you mentioned the Yankees, the revered, revamped Yankee Stadium. They're having a great year. MLB and ESPN do not show the crowd at Yankee Stadium the way they show the crowd here because it's not even close matching energy-wise.
And one more thing on the clubhouse, because that's the big thing that the national media talks about is the vibe with this clubhouse. Last night was another clear example of the vibes down that clubhouse. The fact that a big piece from the past couple of years comes back with this new team, and you see the way our current clubhouse reacts to it. I mean, this team is truly special. The vibes are high, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, JP. What are you going to tell us about? A little TrueMark action?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about TrueMark, guys. We're obviously talking about supporting local, so let's talk about supporting our local friends here at TrueMark, guys. Listen, banking today is pretty scary stuff, okay? I'm right there with you. We all hear the horror stories on Twitter, on the news, you name it. But that's why we're talking to you guys about TrueMark. Give you guys a little bit of peace of mind. And what are we talking about? We're talking about a credit union, because when you join a credit union like TrueMark Financial, you become a part owner, which means profits are coming right back to you instead of going to those shareholders. Better rates, lower fees, and a better return on savings with more flexible options. And they have all the same digital tools and technology to make all of our lives easier. And like I mentioned, local roots, ladies and gentlemen, they are based out of Fort Washington here with 24 local branches in the area. So what is better than that? Becoming a member of a credit union has so many benefits over becoming a customer at a bank. It's an absolute no-brainer. So here's what you got to do. Get your credit union career started here today. Head on over to TrueMark.com/PHLY. Again, that's TrueMark.com/PHLY. Or you can find a branch near you to learn about the credit union difference. Federally insured by the NCUA. And thank you to our friends over at TrueMark.
All right, JP. I want to tell you about snoring. Yes. And I have a guy I've known for a long time, Dr. Andy. All right. Dr. Andy's a genius. He created this Sleep Healthy PA, and he's committed to helping Philadelphia residents stop the snore. He finds solutions for sleep apnea that will allow you to rest well and improve your health. See, what causes sleep apnea, now, there's a choke point in the throat that causes snoring. Think of it like a kink in a garden hose, right? Where all of a sudden the water can't get through, just like the oxygen, just like the air. Well, Dr. Andy Cohen, who's board certified in dental sleep medicine, and his staff are going to work one-on-one with you to provide first-class care that will meet your needs. See, many physicians aren't equipped to provide other options outside of CPAP machines. Who the hell wants to wear that contraption in bed? No. So more than anything, Dr. Andy, he wants to see his patients healthy, all right? If you're tired of CPAP machines that are cumbersome, is your significant other tired of it too? 50% of divorces cite snoring as the main issue. He's based in Jenkintown. He's worked for years to educate dentists across the country on his personal approach to helping those with sleep apnea. His team is committed to stopping the snore. Tell him PHLY sent you. You'll get 15% off your initial workup. That's right. The process is simple. 2-hour initial exam split into 2 sessions. All right. You get information gathering, medical history, and imaging, and then you review the results, and he's going to give you his recommendations. If you're experiencing sleep apnea and looking for a custom solution to stop the snore, talk to Dr. Andy, all right? I recommend him. He's amazing. Just go to sleephealthypa.com, sleephealthypa.com, or call him 215-337-2501, 215-337-2501, and tell him PHLY sent you. All right. Joining us, the big story, of course, brought to you by TrueMark. He covers the Phillies for The Athletic, and he does such an amazing job. He was there last night. I always follow him. I'm always reading him. He's terrific. Matt Gelb. Matt, what's up, brother?
Good morning.
What a night last night.
Right? I mean, if you're a Phillies fan, I mean, that was like the perfect game, right? I mean, Rhys Hoskins hits a home run. Everybody gets a cheer for him, and the Phillies win.
It's like every night down there is a different storyline. It's so unique, Matt. It's something that I've covered sports a long time. I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, it reminds me of the glory years down at Citizens Bank Park, 2009, 2010, 2011, where it is a party every night. And that really is what it is. And it's funny because David Dahl, this guy's 30 years old. He was an all-star years ago with the Rockies, hasn't played a lot in the majors, gets called up. They put him right in left field, hits a home run. Then he goes out to left field after he hits a home run. And fans, what they do is a little cheer for a guy, get a guy standing ovation after a home run. And David Dahl after the game is like, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me on a baseball field. And this guy is like he's been around him. He's 30. He's played for a long
Yes.
time in this sport. And he's like, that was the coolest thing ever. And it's like, yeah, man, welcome to the party. This is what it is.
Welcome to the party. That's a great line. And that's exactly it in a nutshell. I kind of covered that early run, the 07 to 11, very closely. This is even different. And I don't know why, but the fans and just the inclusive nature, I mean, the outpouring of love, it's even different. Matt, I can't explain it to you, but it's even more pronounced and more emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I think people connected with that previous team, Utley and Rollins and Howard being the core there and all the other guys around them, Hamels. But I don't know, it does seem like that people have really, really, really connected with a lot of the personalities and players on this group. And, you can tell that they love playing with each other. And I think that, people who are watching them, you know, can feel that. And I think there is something to that. And we saw how people reacted with Rhys Hoskins coming back last night. And, I think people love sports and watch sports because you want to see good things. You want to, uh, see winning teams, but you also want to make connections with the players, the people who are in those uniforms. And I think that we saw the power of that last night with how Rhys Hoskins was greeted and how he reacted. And I think it's just a little piece to show like how people have connected with this team, these players, and they really did come out of nowhere. And it had been so long since people loved baseball in the city again, and I think that was like this pent up energy that for a better part of 2 years, people have really felt it.
It's funny. A buddy of mine sent me a text last night, and he's like, "What's wrong? Basically, what's wrong with these people? They're giving a standing ovation? I couldn't wait to drive Rhys to the airport. He was a horrible first baseman. Blah 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 blah." And my reaction is, you don't understand it. Like this is not well. It's irrelevant how you felt about Rhys as a ball player, right? Like he was a big part of this organization. He was a guy. I quite frankly, I appreciated his eye. He was his patient approach, but he was a big part of this organization, and he had a huge moment 2 years ago. In the bat spike in Atlanta, and had the big series against the Padres, and so that's what last night was about. It was paying homage to one of your own.
Yeah, and I think the reason why he meant so much is because he was here for the bad years, right? I mean, when he first came up in 2017, he represented, sort of hope for a franchise that, hadn't had very much to root for or be happy about for quite a few years. And yeah, he was not a perfect player. I mean, there were certainly things that he did that frustrated fans. He was a streaky hitter, made mistakes in the field, but I think why people connected with him so much is that they felt like this guy knows how we feel because he saw bad baseball. He lived through bad baseball just like we did, and he got to see the other side of it. And that moment, like you said, Anthony, that the bat spike, I mean, really it was like when the clouds cleared and people remembered like what it could be like here when the Phillies were good and winning and had a chance to win a championship. And that spike to me was just like, the exclamation point. And I think that's why people connected with him so much and really showed him the love last night is that he saw the good and the bad. And I think people appreciated that.
Yeah. He was also, just for the record, he was a very charitable guy. ALS was a big charity for him. I hosted his charity event a couple of times. I thought he was a great, just one of the great people. So I was happy that it was experienced. The way it all worked out was so perfect. And then watching JT, tag him on the bunt, like, it was awesome. Like that was that kind of way. Fransky said it great. He said, it was like two buddies playing at the Sandlot.
Yeah, and it's funny because Rhys Hoskins stole a bag on JT, which really he stole it off Zach Wheeler, who really
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention. And Wheeler, it's hard to steal bags off Wheeler. He does not give up a lot. And it's funny because, Rhys steals the bag and he looks right back at JT and he's smiling. And then there's a single to center and Johan Rojas makes a great throw and JT tags out Rhys at home. And then they're smiling at each other and pat each other on the butt. And you're right. I mean, it was like everything about it was perfect from the Phillies' perspective, and it was perfect from Hoskins' perspective, I'm sure, other than the fact that his team did not win. But I mean, he got everything he wanted. He got the ovation, he hit a home run, he got to smile and he got to feel the love again, and it was really cool. I mean, it's worked out for everyone. I mean, Rhys is playing well. The Brewers are one of the best teams in the National League, and the Phillies have the best record in the National League. So I mean, it's worked out for everybody. I think that's cool to see.
Matt Gelb with us, the Athletic, who does a fabulous job. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. So let's talk about it. They're 42-19. And, dude, it's every night. And the pitching is, you expect it from Wheeler, right? But, between Wheeler and Nola and Suarez, I mean, you're getting it through the entire rotation other than Taijuan. I mean, it's been amazing, man. I mean, every night is just great baseball, really good baseball. And they haven't really went nuts with the bats yet.
No, they haven't. It's funny because Bryce Harper just won Player of the Month for the National League, and it was like, he had a decent month, he had a good month, but it's like it didn't feel like he had a Player of the Month type of month, and that just speaks to how well this team is just playing right now. I mean, it hasn't felt like they've done anything that is crazy, unsustainable. I mean, they're playing solid baseball, and they're not doing things that they can't do for the remainder of the season and into October. And you mentioned rotation. I mean, the guy tonight, Christopher Sanchez. I mean, this guy has taken an unbelievable leap forward. He's throwing 97. He's throwing this changeup. This is their number 4 starter, and he's pitched honestly like a number 2 for almost a year now. I mean, it's remarkable what they've been able to do with him and the improvement that he's been able to make. And that just speaks to the bigger picture. I mean, these guys have all gotten just a little better. And man, it's a deep roster. You saw it last night when they just plugged guys in. And yes, they missed Trey Turner. They're going to miss Brandon Marsh for a little bit. Turner should be back within, I think, the next 10 to 14 days. And that will help big time. But yeah, I mean, now you get to a point where you can really start to think about October. And, nothing is guaranteed, but now you start thinking about the bigger picture. And you want to make sure you don't push these guys too much, because the one thing that can derail this team is injuries. And that's where you got to be careful.
So what do you do? There was already talk about the Phillies looking for some outfield help. Now you saw that bring up Dahl and the whole thing. How real do you believe is that? And there was some talk. People were talking about maybe putting Turner out there. What do you kind of see in the future?
Well, for one, Turner will not be out there. Turner is the shortstop, and he is the shortstop now and for the foreseeable future. So that's not a thing. But as far as trade deadline talk, yeah, I mean, it's less than 2 months away now. I still think it's kind of early because you don't really know which teams are selling.
I know it came up yesterday. It was weird. And I'm thinking there was a report. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Matt, about the Phillies looking for outfield help. And that's where in the story I read, they brought that up. I'm going, this is way early because you don't know who's a buyer, who's a seller.
Yeah, and you look at the middle of the National League, and it's just a lot of teams jumbled together. And that 5 and 6 seed in the National League, it's probably not going to take a lot of wins to get those seeds. So you're going to have a lot of teams that probably think they're still in it and maybe aren't buying, but probably aren't selling either. And so then you start to look at the teams that are out of it, and there's not a lot to choose from some of these teams. They're pretty bad. And so we'll see. I mean, yeah, outfield is a natural target for them. I don't know that they'd be going out to get a guy with a capital G. I do think they like what they have, and they got it. We'll see. I mean, between now and July 30th, somebody might get hurt, and that might change, what they need. So I think that they're in a place where they can be picky, right? Because of their record, because of the situation with their roster, they can be picky. If there's something they want or somebody they like, they can go get it. If the price is too much, they can say, you know what, we're good. I think being picky is a great place to be, especially when you got somebody like Dave Dombrowski, who's been in this game for a long time, running the show.
What do you do? You also can be patient, right? So you can be patient with someone like Walker and hope that he can string together a couple of decent starts before you break glass and you put Turnbull in his spot.
That's the idea. I mean, look, I know it's frustrating for people and I understand it, but this is a regular season problem for the Phillies, right? This is not a problem that they're going to have in October because just like last year, you don't need 5 stars in October. And last year, Taijuan Walker was that 5th guy, and he did not see the field in October. And so the challenge now that they make to Taijuan Walker is say, make us use you, be better. And if you're not, then you won't be on the postseason roster. And I think, you know, the rotation has been so good that the standard is so high. And his start against the Cardinals, no, it wasn't great, but he gave him 5 innings and he gave up 4 runs. Like, that is what a 5th starter does. And I know he's not being paid like a 5th starter, but that is what he is for this team right now. And I mean, it could be worse. Like, they have 5, 6 solid starters, and like other teams look at their situation and are like, we wish we had that. Like, we wish we could have that.
Hey, Matt, do me a favor. Can you take us, because you do a really good job of this, can you take us into the clubhouse for a second and this bond that is really formed between the players and the fan base and the city itself? And because I go back to when the end days of the vet, and it was horrible, right? Like, players hated playing here. I mean, the infamous Scott Rowland stuff. I mean, it was awful. Like, it was like the death of baseball. And I think about that a lot because all these years later, we've seen something that has never existed. And it's a bond that is really amazing between the player and the fan base in the city.
I think there's a lot of factors, Anthony. And one of them is that there's been continuity, right? This is a group that people have come to get to know. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of changes. This roster is mostly the same as the one last year. And remember, in the offseason, everyone was talking about, well, they're going to run it back. They didn't make any changes. What are we going to do? Why didn't they sign these guys? And I think there is value in that familiarity and continuity. And these guys know what to expect from each other. And they have fun playing together. And they know the coaches. They know the manager. They know what the expectation is. They know what their job is. And I think that has just helped them come together, and that I think that because they're having fun, people see that and they want to sort of experience that with them. But to your point about not wanting to play here and now guys want to be here, it starts at the top. I mean, like what John Middleton has done as the owner of this team, it cannot be overlooked. And they have created a place where they will pay for top talent. You will be rewarded if you play well, and the facilities, they've really spent a lot of money on it. They've spent a lot of money on taking care of players' families, and that is something that gets noticed by players. It gets talked about across the league. I mean, that kind of standard is important, and it's stuff that you don't see off the field. And fans might kind of scoff at it, but it just creates a better workplace. And
Yes.
we've all been in places where maybe we had a boss we didn't like, or we had a situation where we didn't like, and that affects your performance. It affects your mood. And they've created a strong workplace, and it just so happens to be a ballpark where everybody is watching, and it's where we go to have fun, but it's where they go to work. And they've created a great atmosphere there, and I think it shows. I think the players have responded.
Dude, that's an excellent point. It's just a perfect point. Last thing, you're the quickest tweeter of anybody out there. Nobody tweets as fast as you do. Your only complaint is let it breathe a little bit. So this way I know that while watching the game and I'm following you, I at least get to see the out before I know the game's over.
I usually wait. I wait like 90 seconds, which is crazy to me. I'm not, I always wait. It's actually crazy to me because like when you're at the ballpark, you realize like how much the delay is on TV. Because
Yes.
I know not even people not watching over the air, like you're streaming it maybe, like the delay is. I mean, I don't know. I'm usually waiting. Like the handshake line has already happened, and like they're already going back to the dugout. It's like okay, like I can write my quick little like tweet recap, but I need to wait. I need to wait more. I don't want to spoil it.
You do an amazing job, brother. You do. Keep it up, buddy. I love you. Thanks, pal.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
See you, brother. The great Matt Gelb from The Athletic. He does. He's the quickest tweeter. VG.
I have notifications on for Gelb tweets because I'm a big fan of what he does, and it's like I know better. I shouldn't even look, but it's like I just can't resist. Last night he was ahead by like 2 pitches.
He's got them quick fingers.
Yeah,
He does. Yeah. He's quick. Speaking of the quick fingers, joining us, the brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Good morning, brain.
Well, he may be the quickest typer, but I'm the quickest eater. So, I mean, I'll take my chances with that.
So, are you? You're still in LA? Is this?
Yeah, I'm in LA. I leave in a few hours, my friend.
Oh, nice. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, Yeah, a little visiting my kid at UCLA, and it was good to be in California for a few days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, a couple things I want to get to today, and of
Yes,
course
sir.
the daily grind brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. We'll tell you about that in a moment. But Brain, let's look at the Phillies and Yankees, who appear to be on this collision course. They're both 42 and 19 right now. The one side, the Phillies, all about the rotation, and then it's Judge and Soto. From a betting standpoint, how do you approach this stuff, and how do you look at the futures? So how are you navigating futures?
Well, Anthony, look, and we've talked about it. Me and you've talked about this a ton. The problem in baseball, if you're looking to take a favorite to win the World Series, man, it's just in my opinion, a tough road to go down. Not because the team's not the best team, but just the inherent nature of baseball. It's just hard. The best team usually just doesn't win the World Series. That's just the way that it is. But Anthony, I got to tell you something though. This Yankees team isn't just all about. Obviously Soto and Judge are incredible, but Luis Gil, who I took to win Rookie of the Year about a few weeks ago, he's been unbelievable. They're going to be getting
he's pitching
Garrett.
tonight.
He is. They're getting Garrett Cole back, who's been, he's obviously been the best pitcher in the league. He's starting a rehab in Double-A. Clark Schmidt, who just went on the DL, has pitched great before he got hurt. Stroman has been a quality signing for them. I mean, this has been, and even I got to tell you something. I've been surprised. Carlos Rodon, I didn't think would bounce back at all. He's actually pitched really well. Credit to him after the just nightmare of a season he went through last year. This New York team, kind of like the Phillies, right? I mean, the Phillies haven't just been good offensively; they've been good pitching. The Yankees, you don't go 42 and 19 without everything kind of working, and then the bullpen at the end. Holmes has been like terrific for them as well. Look, this is a team these have been the 2 best teams year to date, Anthony. But as we know so well, once these playoffs start, it's just how do you do in those short 5-game series? As I said,
I know it's why you can't even talk about playoffs.
You can't.
It's. I have this conversation all the time, and you and I have discussed it, I'm sure, in the past, which is it's completely a different animal. It's the only sport where, like, I remember in 2004 when the Eagles got T.O., and you went, nobody's beating them. Like, you knew that nobody was going to beat them, and it was going to be Eagles and Patriots in the Super Bowl. No one in the NFC was going to beat them. The Sixers, I remember in '83,
Moses,
right? Nobody was going to beat them. Like, you can look at certain teams and go in other sports, but baseball you can't because of the oddities of this pitching and hitting and how it comes and goes.
That's exactly right, and it's just it is what it is. It's not. That's why again when the Yankees, Anthony, won those 4 World Series from '96 to 2000, to me that was such an incredible thing. Not only being the best team, but it was easier then too. Let's be honest. I think back then, Anthony, there weren't as many playoff teams.
Right.
When having more playoff teams, you may say it makes it. Some people may say, "Oh, it makes it easier to get in." That's true. But if you're a team that's going to get in, like the Yankees, it's an extra round of playoffs where you didn't have to do it before potentially. So it makes it, in my opinion, now I think it's the hardest it's ever been to win a World Series because
we talk about the Phillies, right? The Braves last year or the last 2 years were the best.
That's 2 years,
right?
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah.
In 2011, the Phillies were the best team. They go down to the Cardinals.
I thought that Phillies team actually, in my opinion, Anthony, was the best of all the Phillies teams. You may disagree. I know that obviously 2018, but I thought that Phillies team was the best pitching team in baseball, the best hitting team in baseball. Matson was decent as a closer still. I mean, that I thought that team was just had everything. But again, a best of five, Anthony, a best of five.
I
It
know.
takes from a mathematical point of view. I think it's a best. My analytics people told me I think it's the best. It's either best of 23 or best of 27. And for baseball, it was either 23 or 27. I forget which one. For the better team to start showing themselves from a really mathematical point of view. So basically, a best of 7 means Jack, you know what? Okay, it's not. It doesn't mean
That's
anything.
a fascinating number. So it takes
It was either
best of
23 or 27.
23 or 27.
Yeah, I think it was
before you see an
23.
advantage.
Yes, before you see an advantage in baseball, It's the only sport like that. And so basically, you always have to check yourself, right? Because you want to say, okay, you know, how can the Phillies lose in the playoffs? Let's suppose they're playing whoever, and you're like, well, how can they lose? Well, the answer is they can lose quite easily because you could take the Chicago White Sox, who are the worst team in baseball, or the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies, didn't the Rockies just beat the Phillies 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
Okay, the Rockies have the worst record in the National League.
Yeah.
That's I rest my case. It's just, and that's just, it doesn't mean the Phillies weren't trying. Does it mean the Phillies aren't a good team? No, it's just that's what baseball is now. In football, is an 0-15 team, like a hapless team, going to beat a 14-1 team? Never, not going to happen. But in baseball, even the worst teams usually win about 38% of their games, Anthony. Think about that. They're usually going 3-5. The worst team is going 3-5. In football, the worst team's going 2-15. Huge difference, Anthony.
By the way, the Daily Grind presented by Bet Parks. Bet Parks Tuesday. Again, Fightins baseball. Sanchez going in the second game of the series against Milwaukee. The Bet Parks game combo bet has Fightins to win -1.5 runs. All right. And then you couple that with the over 8.5. $25 on that parlay brings back 71.25. $25 on the Fightins to win outright, and then to go under pays 45 on that combo. Bet the first 3 innings, the first 5 innings, the whole game. Bet more than the score. You got hits, home runs, strikeouts, all the props you want. Bet all your favorite sports in the Bet Parks app right now. Play live baccarat, live roulette, also different blackjack games. You play them all right now with a live dealer on your phone with the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app. You got plenty of online slots, Zeus, fantastic fireworks, Lucky Cherry, all the excitement and the action from the casino right at your fingertips. It's safe, fast, easy to use. Bet Parks. Check it out. You got to be 20. You got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
I got to say something real quick, Anthony. Wait, real quick. I just heard what you said there. From a mathematical point of view, and a lot of sports books, it's great that Parks don't let you do what you just said. They don't let you parlay a team -1.5 with the favorite, because actually there is a correlation. When you take a team minus the favorite -1, the favorite, and take them by more than 1.5, that usually is a mathematical edge. And also, if you take the underdog plus, if you take the under and the team +1, the underdog +1.5, or the favorite over, -1.5 and over. Usually, if you take the favorite and the over, it actually is a mathematical advantage. Most sports books don't let you do it. So actually, for everyone listening, that was actually probably not a bad bet.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we do it, don't forget you can follow Brad at Brad's Best Bets, bradsbestbets.com to check him out. He wins. So what do you got for tonight?
Well, Anthony, look, I'm going to stick in one game, okay? And I'm going to stick in the Pirates game against the Dodgers. And there's 2 plays I like in this game. One, I'll start. Look, Tyler Glasnow leads the league in strikeouts, 95 strikeouts, Anthony, in 74 innings. His last 7 starts, he's gone over 7.5 strikeouts 6 of the 7 times. Pittsburgh, the last 30 games, has struck out the 3rd most times in Major League Baseball. The over-under 7.5 on Park's site, you're getting +104. They're giving you plus odds on a bet where I made this line either 8.5 for Glasnow, or I made it 7.5 closer to -145 area on the over. I think he's closer to a 60% chance to do this. You can get plus juice on the Park site. like it a lot. And Anthony, I'm going to take under 4.5 runs in this game in the 5-inning line. In the 5-inning line, I'm going to get out of Dodge after the 5-inning line because I really like Jared Jones a lot. At his first bad start last time against the Tigers, this guy, as you know, Anthony, has been really, really good throughout the year. Obviously, a tough matchup going against the Dodgers, but I feel very confident Glass now will give up 0 or 1. And if I'm right on that, it means my boy Jones only has to give up 3 or less, which I feel pretty confident he'll do. Like under 4.5 minus 137, 5-inning line.
I like it. That's good stuff. Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
College football futures. Now, this year with the playoffs, in fact, I have the GM of Nebraska coming on, right? So, Sean Padden. So, I'm looking forward to I can't wait for college football. It's going to be incredible. Is your teams, have you already looked at the futures?
In terms of winning well, first of all, Anthony, we just talked about like winning the World Series. How harder. I think it'll be now hardest ever. I mean, you say again, you get more teams in the playoffs, it'll be easier. But I think, again, you're going to have to win that many more games or whatnot. Didn't find any teams in terms of winning a title. But my favorite bet, and Anthony, again, this proves again, I'm always looking to win. I don't have any biases. My favorite bet that I pretty big large wager on was Michigan under 9.5 wins. I think it's now been bet down to 9. I do not think this team goes 10-2. I think they probably lose 4 games. Their schedule was tough, Anthony. And again, they lost a lot of really good players. Obviously the coaching changed as well.
Coach, right? Like it was and for everybody, I need to say this. Brad's a Michigan guy, so that's a big deal.
And I made it my biggest bet by far is Michigan under 9. And I laid juice. I laid like $1.45, $1.50 in that area, but I didn't care. Like I made their total 8.5. So I was off a full game, and a full game in college is worth so much. And I actually think they're going to win closer to 8. I think Michigan finishes 8-4 this year. We'll see how it plays out. But that's my favorite future in college football would be Michigan's under. You can still get under 9. I still like it. I mean, 9 obviously just becomes a push, not a win. But I look at their schedule, Anthony. It's going to be tough. And I look, if you're looking for like a future where maybe a team is maybe being underrated, I think Notre Dame's going to have a pretty good year. And I think their odds I saw as high as like maybe 40-1 to win the college title. Yeah. And I think Notre Dame has a chance. I think they'll make the playoffs. So obviously, just if you get in there at 40-1, it could be a fun ticket, if nothing else. But I can't wait for college football to start.
Dude, week 0.
I know it's your sport, man.
I love it. Well, I mean
all of your sports
between college football and the NFL, and then you got playoff baseball.
Yeah,
I can't wait for it. I'm trying not to fast forward through the summer because this Philly story is so good. So.
Yeah, they've been. By the way, Anthony, I did bet the Phillies, and I don't know what it is now, but I did bet the minus 230 to win. Again, I didn't care. Again, minus 230. Think about it. You're like, wow, you're really confident. But again, this Phillies team, Anthony, and what happened to the Braves? Again, if you take Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler off the Phillies, they're going to feel it. The Braves lost Acuna and obviously Steven Strider. I really like the Phillies to win the division. They have a 7-game lead now. I'd be very surprised if they don't get home.
No Acuna, no Strider. Come on. I
think the Phillies are clearly the better team. Look, Phillies are the best team, I think, in the National League, Anthony. And again, Phillies Yankees, God, that would be amazing to get the rematch of 2009.
I know.
That'd be incredible.
It'd be
incredible.
Yeah,
it would be fabulous.
Good stuff, my brother.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Brain. See you, pal.
I'll see you tomorrow.
There he is, the brain. Betting unders.
Well, shade on the Phils. Yeah, best team in the National League. That's what he says. Clearly the best team in the National League.
You think so?
Yankees guy at heart?
No, he's from here.
Well, come on. You can't say they're the best team in baseball?
Say it with gumption.
Yeah, come to the National League.
You know why? Because he's anal when it comes to, because in his mind, like he's a math guy.
He's crushing numbers.
Right? Like he's a math guy. So in his mind, it's like a beautiful mind, right? Like he's that kind of twisted dude where he looks at it, well, they both have the same record, 42-19.
Right.
So he can't say that one's better than the other.
He doesn't do the
bizarre.
eye test.
Yeah.
He just does the stats.
Yes.
All numbers.
Where's he at in LA? That wood paneling behind him looked like it was 1974.
I thought he was in a sauna, to be honest with you.
I thought he was in a sweat lodge,
and he had the hoodie.
And the hoodie, yes.
He had the hoodie on.
Hoodie brain.
The hoodie. He had the hoodie and the wood paneling.
Yeah,
I mean,
weird.
was that nuts?
He must be cheap Airbnbs he's staying at out there. That's not a hotel he's at all.
No, it's definitely not a hotel.
Cheapest Airbnb in Hollywood.
It looks like it. It looks like the
Log
Airbnb.
cabin.
Yeah, it does. Which is, yeah. I love that you notice all the little.
Oh my
VG
God.
notices all those little details.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, but he said yesterday he won't spend more than $25 on a hat. Obviously, you see that hat he's got on today, that ratty thing? Come on, bro. Come on, Brad. You love the hat.
The brain.
Maybe spend $29 on a hat.
The brain getting roasted.
Yo, VG brought the torch out.
I love Brave, but man, a hat game.
All right, let me talk to you about Primo Hoagies. That's right. For 30 years, Primo Hoagies has offered a culinary experience that celebrates tradition, quality, and the unmistakable flavor of Philadelphia, right? Starts with the bread. Baked in store, those seeded rolls, baked in store every couple hours, always fresh. And then the greatest Thuman meats and cheeses piled high on those incredible rolls. From this first store opening in 1992, and I remember it, right in the heart of South Philadelphia on Rittner Street, sandwich shops on every corner. They know they needed to stand out with something truly special. Their secret, quality ingredients that goes into every hoagie, from the finest meats and cheeses to that award-winning seeded roll. Primo Hoagies committed to crafting sandwiches that set the standard for excellence. I told you a story about the meatball sandwich. My auntie likes the meatball sandwiches. And Big Nick, who started franchising Primo Hoagies, he worked like 9 months on the recipe. Tasted a million meatballs, like, no, until they got it right. All right, because it had to be authentic. And that's what it is. Hey, become a Primo Rewards member. Get $2 off Primo size hoagies every Wednesday. All right? And do yourself a favor. Next gathering, graduation party. You got some sort of issue, some sort of fun thing gathering over the springtime and into the summer. You go with Primos, man. The Primo party trays, you name it. Go to primohoagies.com for the nearest location. You'll say what I always say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo. That's right. And, of course, we're presented by the Parks Casino in Ben Salem. All the best world-class entertainment that you could find in Pennsylvania at Parks Casino. I mean, they got comedians coming in weekly, right? You got the biggest acts, the Excite Center, which is a 1,500-seat arena right there in Parks Casino in Ben Salem. The culinary stuff is amazing. The Parks Steakhouse. I mean, the hand-rolled sushi. All right? I mean, they have it. You name it, anything you want over at the Parks Casino in Ben Salem. And, of course, all the action, right? They got state-of-the-art slots. The poker room is incredible. And, of course, my favorite, the sports book with the big hulking screens. It's so much fun. You get to hang out. The excitement never ends. Check out Parks Casino and Street Road, Ben Salem. All right? So not just... We always talk about the Bet Parks Casino, Sportsbook Casino app. Go have some fun at Parks Casino in Ben Salem as we hang out. Always loving what we do. And coming up, Sean Padden, local guy, who is the GM of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And one of the things, guys, that I wanted to have Sean on, not just he's a local guy, but the landscape of college sports has changed so dramatically now with the ruling after the lawsuit, where Power 5 conferences will be able to pay players. What's it like being a GM of a program like Nebraska?
I don't even understand the ins and outs. Like, will different programs be able to pay more than other programs? Like, if you're a top 5 team, do you have
Power 5? Yeah,
but I mean, like, if you're ranked in the top, like if you're
no, I think
Alabama,
it's the conference. It goes. It goes through conferences.
But they all pay the same amount?
And this is what
so
we'll find
confused
out.
by it all.
It's all new to all of us.
Well,
even the GM,
not only that, you have where does the NIL come in?
Right.
Right.
And you have some teams, there are movements of some schools to unionize their athletes. It's a whole wild thing going on. And I mean, it's well deserved. These players need to be getting paid.
But it changes everything. And you look at it and you go, well, where is, how do you construct a roster between the portal?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's basically Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
And so like, all right, I got my quarterback. Like he has a freshman quarterback who has a big NIL deal, who's coming in. He was a highly sought quarterback, and he's coming in, and it's like, all right, well now, you got to protect against the portal. And
well, I think it's a little more complicated than Howie's job. Howie at least knows who's writing the checks. I feel like these college guys have to recruit players and boosters.
Yeah.
Like they need that booster money to come in for the
booster,
NILs, and that's a big deal. They got to juggle both sides.
yeah,
I feel like a lot of like former NFL front office people are going to start going to college now too, because like you need that experience. You need to know how to manage books and recruiting players too.
I mean, it's a tough job because with the portal, I mean, you construct Howie at least knows he's got guys for a few years.
like under
This
contract,
portal,
like you understand that you got
Yeah.
under contract, but with the portal, now you wonder that once guys are being paid in their contract or in their agreement, I don't know what it is,
Is it
but
just handshakes, cause?
like in their agreement, does that mean you can't leave? Like, can you then go, I'll give you extra money, right? But you got to stay. Like, you can't go into the portal.
I don't know if that holds up in court, not letting them leave.
I know.
Yeah. So it's like the
It's gonna be
wild,
a work in
wild west in
progress.
college sports.
And that's why I wanted to have Sean on as to give me a little like insight into this crazy world that is the NIL and the college football. Like, I love it. I don't know. Were you a big college football guy?
I'm not a huge college
Yeah, I
football
didn't think
guy.
you were.
I do if I lean towards a liking, I follow the Wolverines.
Oh, yeah, you like Michigan?
Two
Ew.
things. I'm a Juniata Park guy. We always were blue and gold, and they got a great song. You gotta love that.
You know the fight song?
Oh, I love it. Listen,
When I was a kid, I was
the
like, "Oh
pad-
man, this song is great."
the pageantry of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's tough because I'm a
In
cute
this area, you either like Notre Dame, right?
or Penn State.
to you,
Yeah.
baby.
Like I'm a Cuse basketball fan. They have a really hard time. They had a booster coming in, and he was a little shady. Imagine that. He's in waste management and recycling.
Nah.
And he didn't have the greatest
Consultant.
background, so they had to get rid of him. But that was a huge pocket for that university. So it's a real juggling act to keep
Yeah.
these legit boosters around.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of back into it, especially with the video game now back. Like, there was a
Dude,
couple
the
years.
guy, I can't wait
Yeah.
for that video game.
We had this conversation.
Bosco's going to get a big present.
Yeah, there you go, Moz.
He's going to get a college football 25. Cannot wait.
can't
All right,
wait.
let's welcome him to the program. He is a great Delaware Valley guy through and through, and a great football man. Sean Padden. Look at that beard you got rocking, brother.
How we doing, boys? Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. I'm doing it off the phone. Is this working out okay?
Yeah, just stay right there. Actually, perfect. If you stay right there, you're great. You're great. First of all, I was just talking about you and how deep your ties run here, from here. You and Matt have had an incredible relationship, from Temple to Carolina and now to Nebraska, brother.
Yeah. I was born in Scranton, but grew up in Norristown ever since I was 5. I was the last graduating class of Bishop Kenrick, PCL North. Matt and I met at Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania. I coached the D-line. He coached the linebackers, and we just created a good friendship. We understood each other. We both kind of had the same mentality. Him coming through Penn State as a walk-on, and me being just a Division III guy, where you're eternally a walk-on. And we just kind of hit it off and just stayed good friends, and only coached together 1 year. But I got out of football, and at least out of college football, in 2003. That was my last season. I was the D-line coach at Fordham, and I was just, in the private sector, coaching West Philly Tar Heels, the 5 and 6 year olds. And then Matt became the head coach at Temple. and I had that itch to get back in, but I sort of stepped away from coaching, but I thought I could help on the operations side, on the business side of things, and so we went from Temple to Baylor to Carolina, and now to Nebraska.
I forgot Baylor. How can I forget Baylor?
Yeah.
You turned that one around too. Um, it's such an interesting time. And this is what we were having a conversation. We don't know anything about the new rules and the landscape of college football. You are the GM, basically. You're Howie Roseman of a storied franchise, right? Of a storied program in Nebraska. I mean, that's basically what you do.
Well, it's a different animal in terms of there's no collective bargaining agreement. There is no draft, so there's certainly, and I'm certainly not on the on Howie's plane by any stretch of the imagination. What an amazing GM he is! But it is a lot of the recruiting, but it is also a lot of the interaction with our collective, with our NIL collective, and that relationship is invaluable to us. The 1890 initiative is invaluable to us, and I work with them every single day. They have contracts with a lot of our players, and a lot of times they communicate things with me and through me, and I talk with the players, and we try and turn everything into another life lesson. Kid says, hey, my contract is up, I'm thinking about talking to them about X, Y, or Z, and you want to help guys advocate for themselves and help help them. We're allowed to facilitate guys in their deals in terms of helping them out and talking to them. And so sometimes you give them ammo, you know what I mean? You give them, hey, listen, you're a contributor, you're on the field a lot. You can't be direct pay for play, but your marketability is certainly greater because of the accomplishments you've made. So, but it's just not a straight direct. It's just the landscape changes every freaking day. I'm looking at email alerts like, oh, this court just came down, or this court just came down, and it's the landscape is insane, but I think that it's starting to shake out a little bit. There's still a lot of question marks need to be worked out, but we're starting to see some shape and form to how this may look moving forward.
Well, and how did the recent court case, right, where the NCAA settles and says Power 5 conferences can now pay players? So the schools can pay players. So you're going to have your own payroll, and then you also have NIL, right? Are they going to be together? Is it separate? Is it one big pool?
It's sort of unknown. So the settlement, the settlement case, moving backwards, they've kind of agreed on terms. How that's exactly going to work moving forward is just filled with a bunch of conjecture. We're not exactly sure how it's going to work. In my mind, as I try and start to see what it starts to take shape is think about it as the team itself, the university itself is taking care of a certain, like in the NFL, I think it's paragraph 9, certain amount of dollars that get allocated to them, and then your NIL, your initiative, 1890 initiative may shift into a full-blown marketing type situation where they're really trying to capitalize, the way this was always first initially looked at in terms of name, image, and likeness, as opposed to a straight collective payment type of situation. It's going to basically say you're going to have the cap, and then what your collective can help you earn under real market value directives and real market value figurations, like, okay, you're worth this, because you think about it and you say, well, around here, our guys are the Philadelphia Eagles. So what would it cost to get an Eagle to come sit down and have dinner with you? It'd cost you a pretty penny, you know what I mean? So I think there's marketability opportunities for our guys. And I think that basically it'll be like, getting, like the Yankees or the Phillies go above the, they pay the luxury tax. Then perhaps, these collectives will help teams go above and beyond what is allocated directly through, the universities. So,
So you almost see it like this, like So there's a base for everyone on the team, right? So there's a base for everyone on the team. And then from there, your starters and then your stars, your better players and stars will get X amount on top using the NIL.
I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to be monitored. Right now, I'm trying to just work out different scenarios. Okay, what if it looks like this? What if it looks like that? What if it looks like 85 is the cap on the roster?
Yeah.
Well, are they going to allow practice squads? Are they going to allow like club squads? Like what's going to go? 85 is a really tough number to practice with, in my opinion, to really get good offensive and defensive work on both sides of the ball. And special teams. Now, the NFL does it with way less, but that's the way the owners want it. Yeah, that's the way the owners want it.
Yeah, but you're right. That's different because in college you need those big rosters. You have to have those big rosters because you have such turnover. The turnover, you have to have that.
Well, there's no. Listen, every Tuesday you're bringing in guys in the NFL and you're working them out. There's no free agency pool that you're working off of. A guy goes down. Your practice squad is your practice squad, but there's a whole universe of players that you could pick the phone up and they'll be there and as soon as they can get their butt there. But that doesn't happen in college. You got to look around and see who do you got is who do you got. You know what I mean? There's no waiver wire.
You're going to be going to English lit class looking for big kids.
Well, heck, our mutual friend Zach Gelb, I tried to get him to walk on when we were at Temple. He came to a morning workout, and I thought he was a walk-on. I was like, "Yeah, what's up, big man? How we doing?" And he's, pencil and paper. He's a reporter. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're always looking for big bodies. That's for sure.
It's so wild, and that's I'm just so fascinated by this whole thing because look, I love college football, and this is going to be an amazing year with the playoffs. And I'm just imagining your job. It's way more convoluted and way more difficult being the GM of Nebraska than it was the Panthers.
Well, you would love the clarity of not going through a third party or not working through a third party or having a third party work through you. It's difficult, and without a CBA, honestly, I hope I'm not opening up any can of worms here, but without a collective bargaining agreement, there's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of people making money off of it being a gray area, and it's staying a gray area, and consultants and this and that, and I just want to get rid of the gray to be able to sit down with guys and be very honest about this, that, and what they can be compensated for, where we can help facilitate further compensation through real market value, and take it that way. But the ambiguity is what's driving you nuts, because you just have these conversations and you're talking to recruits or you're talking to recruits' parents, and they're trying to navigate this space and they don't know where to go. I mean, heck, you and I talk about it, on the Yo Kids, where parents go to, what third party source is helping parents navigate this space. And the bottom line is that nobody really knows. It's conjecture all over the place. There's a lot of gray areas, and so hopefully it's starting to clear up. I'm hoping so.
No, and it's funny. Like when you're a recruit, you're talking to a big recruit, right? Say you're going after some big quarterback. What's that process like? And they come in with a certain demand, right? A certain expectation.
Well, no, I think you don't really. You're talking from a contractual type of situation.
Well, don't they have a certain sort of expectation? Is there an expectation for compensation, right? Like if you got you hear of some left tackle who's in the junior and he's out of Lincoln, he's near you, and then, he wants to come there, but there's a certain level of expectation for compensation. Like, do the parents say, "Hey, this is what we want," and you got to marry the NIL? Like, how does that even happen?
So one of the recent court cases, or one of the recent decisions, and I think it may have been Virginia or Florida, to where they had the NCAA went after one of the universities, I believe, or one of their collectives, because they were having contractual conversations ahead of time. And so that was the NCAA tried to strike that and say, they're not allowed to have those conversations, or you're not allowed to facilitate those conversations. And I might be mixing some of these things up here, but basically what the court injunction came back and said was no, you can't, you can't not allow that. You can't not allow. So what that did is it opened the door for more conversations with collectives and families. But those conversations happen directly with the collectives. And for us, the families can reach out to the collectives and we can provide that information. But for us, it's really not until the end, so to speak. If it's not a request for proposal, like kids aren't coming around asking for numbers and numbers and numbers. Some agents are, but we're not going to, our collective's not going to engage in any of those conversations in an early scenario, or whereby there's, you gotta want to come here for the right reasons. You want
Right.
to be here for the right reasons, and so let's find those things out first, as opposed to, some kid saying, "Hey, what's your number? Oh, what's your number? Oh, what's your number?" Like, that's certainly happening, but that's not how we operate.
I mean, it's bizarre because it's almost like the parallels of free agency are just like that, right? Like even if you're in the portal, so if some star cornerback goes into the portal and he's like, all right, Nebraska, Michigan, Ohio State, this is my number, right? I mean that feels like free agency. It's bizarre.
Oh well, it is. It's free agency twice a year. There's two free agency type windows. If you look at it that way, if you treat it that way, if for us, it's a truth telling time of year. And so some of the guys that, that have gone into the portal for us are guys that we love, guys that we're sorry that, that we lost, but they felt that their opportunity was greater at another place. And they can only come to that conclusion by us being honest about, where we feel about it. So it's the poaching, it's the tampering that happens that is, that's really a pain in the neck, to be honest with you. You have people chirping in guys' ear saying you could be this or you could do that or you could do that. I mean, the portal is also filled with a lot of guys that have been, told misinformation and been given numbers that were like, well, if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, then you'll get sort of this much. And then some places guys are finding that out not to be true. I don't know. I hope that would never happen with us. And I think our collective has a great setup to whereby they operate at a very high level, and so I'm glad of that. But I think that as far as the portal goes, yeah, if you view it, you can view it as free agency. I mean, we've it's not that we haven't taken guys out of the portal. We have I think that anytime there's turnover in a head coach, you sort of have craters in the roster. From a recruiting standpoint, and sometimes you got to fill those craters, based on departures or misses on guys that didn't quite work out. But you early on, you kind of do that. But it's a reality that it's sort of free agency twice a year.
You know what's wild is that it's happening in college sports. Who's to say it doesn't happen in high school, right? Like, isn't that the next frontier where, you're St. Joe's prep and you go, well, I got this eighth grader. Like, I want that kid. And then how soon till they start getting paid? I mean, it's there's no reason why it wouldn't trickle down.
I'm not speaking for the prep or to that particular example, but there are places where that happens. There are places where that happens today. There are schools that try and induce kids to transfer, and they can, in certain states, they can use NIL to induce that. In certain states, it's well, they use it to go around it. I shouldn't say it's allowed, but they use NIL to kind of work around some of those types of things in states where that's allowed. There are some states where NIL is not allowed. It's not allowed in Texas, and I think that's a really tight run. The Texas High School Coaches Association is
Yeah.
a really tight run and moves very conservatively and well thought out wise. But I think they're avoiding it because you could see a heck of a lot of that in certain states.
Yeah, it's wild. Hey, the playoff is awesome, right? Like the playoff, especially having playoff games on campus, it's going to make, like, I'm so excited for this season. I can only imagine you guys hosting a playoff game, what that atmosphere would be like.
Oh my God, the place would be insane. The place would be absolutely bananas. Oh gosh, that would be great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but just in general, having playoff games on campuses, like, it's going to be so much fun. It is going to be so cool. And I'd rather have an argument over, the higher seeds in terms of who gets to be involved as opposed to lower seeds in terms of who gets to be involved. Like, we'll get closer to getting it, quote unquote, right, as it were. But the it's just going to be so much fun. Just more access. It's kind of like, Major League Baseball. You know what I mean? They put in the wild card, they expand the wild card, and all of a sudden you are still alive. You know what I mean? Like, you are still alive. And I think that the way college football has sort of worked over the years is that, you lose a big game early on, you're kind of dead. You're kind of dead in the water. You lose two big games early on, you're dead in the water. That's not going to be the case around here. You know what I mean? Like, you can, you might stumble here or there against a really good team or against two really good teams and still get a chance to get in. And so you're never dead. And I think that's what's going to make a lot of excitement for a lot of different teams across college football.
And you know what I love about it too, because I think it helps the regular season, because now the pressure to schedule cupcakes lessens, right? Like, so now you'll have better early games. Like, one of the things I thought college football should do, it already has Labor Day, but the week 0 thing is interesting, right? Like, because it's standalone to yourself. So besides Labor Day weekend, you have week 0. You can use that and and schedule some big games, and it doesn't matter if you lose. You're still going to be involved. You're still going to be, it'll still help you out, and that just allows the sport to grow.
Yeah, I mean, but don't get too crazy on the week 0 stuff. I need my Seattle time. You know what I mean? You're killing me. You're killing me. All of a sudden, camp's going to start mid-July, and I get absolutely no time. But no, I that week 0's idea is a really good point in terms of just taking a hold of it. And I think that you're right. Well, here's the thing. Is what do the conference schedules look like? Do you have to play 9 conference games, or do you have to play 8 conference games? That also plays into your scheduling, whether cupcake, non-cupcake. Like, who needs another beater and who needs another world beater if you're playing 9 conference games? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that is going to, like, you should, that's another question mark. When you add certain things, it affects other things, and so when you're looking at scheduling down the road, what does your conference require? Does it require 8 conference games or 9 conference games? That's going to affect who you schedule and how creative you get. I mean,
So listen, as a true Philadelphian, I know you're paying attention to the Phillies, because you make the pilgrimage to Clearwater every year. You and I might have had some tequila in Clearwater.
maybe.
How about the story that at Citizens Bank Park, 42-19, Sean? I mean, what an amazing! It's the era of good feelings, man.
It's phenomenal. I remember years ago my buddy is he's with the Dolphins now, but anyway, he's a Yankees fan, and I kept telling him, this is our century. I said, this last century was your century. This is our century. And all of the different things that sort of we've done, you know what I mean? I just remember the steel workers rolling out the thing for Tomey, you know what I mean? And cheering him on as the free agent that came in, and as they were building the new stadium, and the trajectory from that point on, in my mind, you know, hey, we can get big time free agents. And then, you know, and then all of a sudden the minor leagues, you know, continue to produce great guys. And then you had that great core, you know, Utley and Howard and J-Roll and having all those years. But now it's right back. You know what I mean? We kind of had a little bit down, but now it's right back. But I think it's because of that. I think that ballpark plays a role. Number one, people want to play there. People want to play there. That the idea that people don't want to play in Philadelphia, well, maybe soft people don't want to play in Philadelphia, and that's fine. They can play somewhere else. But people want to play in Philadelphia. The atmosphere, Rhys Hoskins last night, you know what I mean? The just the love affair with someone that just does it the right way. And, you know, always carried himself with class. You would just hear what his teammates said about how he is as a leader. And so when that person comes back to Philadelphia, there's nothing but love, because we get it. The Philly fans get it. And so people want to play there. And then you have a great ballpark like that, and you have an organization that, you know, I went to a couple of minor league ballparks when we were down there, you know what I mean? And some of them, you know, but it's like a shrine to Philly fans.
Yeah.
That park down there, you know, down in Clearwater. So I think there's this symbiotic relationship between the fans and the Phillies that the Phillies get just right, you know what I mean? And that the Phillies themselves, the players themselves, truly understand. You know, they truly understand what the fans want to see, and they want to give it to them.
What's the first thing you get when you come home?
I got a Zepp from Eves, a Zeppelin. That's a Norristown thing, you know what I mean? But a Zepp from Eves.
My wife's
and,
from Norristown. My mom always talks about the Zepp. I'm like, what's the
Oh,
Zepp?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you guys invented that thing. I guess it's a hoagie without onions, just
No
tomatoes.
lettuce.
No
no
lettuce. Gotcha.
Yeah, no lettuce, and then it's up to you. I love the crushed hots, the crushed red hots. I love that. But yeah, that's what I got last time. I was just home recently, and and you know, we'll argue about anything. In Norristown, it's Eves versus Lou Zepps, and I'm an Eves guy because, you know, I'm a Kenrick guy, so Eves was right down the road.
That's fantastic. My brother, listen, always great catching up. Thanks for some clarity on the sport. It's wild. So I'm fascinated by this whole thing. Really interested. And give Matt, tell him, give him my best. And my brother, we'll see you guys down the shore soon.
Yep. See you soon. Always great talking to you. Thanks, cuz.
See you, brother. Sean Padden, GM of the Nebraska Cornhuskers college football. That was interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Seems like a good dude. I'd like to do tequila with him.
Yeah, he's strong.
Yeah.
He's a strong guy.
Yeah.
I've tried the Zeps with him.
Yeah.
There's a part of it. He seems almost as confused as we are. Like, just doesn't know what's happening.
Well, I mean, I guess he said he's checking emails every day.
It's wild.
When edicts comes down, and because that court case was just settled.
Yeah.
Well, how does that work in relation with the NIL and then the Power Five?
It's bizarre. He's all calm looking. I'd be overwhelmed if I was him.
I know, like frazzled
Yeah,
papers and everything else.
A team of people trying to interpret stuff for me.
I know. Go ahead, JP. You want to tell us about some stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Listen, let's talk real quick about VG's favorite, the Ollie Pops, ladies and gentlemen. Because listen, guys, we are in summertime. We're looking for something else to drink that's not just water, right? So we got ourselves some of that Ollie Pop as VG's helping with the ad. Yeah. Crack open that Ollie Pop, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, here's why I love Ollie Pop, right? Because I still love that soda taste. Like, who doesn't? Like, who doesn't like that soda taste with their meal on a hot day? But we're still trying to take care of our health. And that's where Ollie Pop comes into play. Because it's the world's first functional soda with that classic soda taste. It has the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, other botanical ingredients that supports that gut health. And Ollie Pop only has 2 to 5 grams of sugar with 9 grams of fiber. And that's where our health nuts absolutely love this product. And of course, guys, the best part about it, So they're available in over 30,000 different retailers, including our favorite here, our local, our Wawas, right? But you can still get it at Target. You can go to Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite. You can even get it delivered with Go Puff as well. But right now, we got you cooked up with that promo code. Use the promo code PHLY20. That'll get you 20% off your next Olipop order. However, this discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscription orders. And Olipop is sold online as well at drinkolipop.com or on Amazon. So for your next meal, try to consider thinking about an Olipop with that meal as well. And while we're at it, guys, it is 10:32 in the morning here on the Anthony Gargano Show. I want to take a quick second to thank you guys for tuning on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the show or to the channel. And of course, when you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button as well. That will let you know exactly when all our shows are live here at PHLY Sports. But of course, guys, listen, it's a big weekend here in Philadelphia. I know we don't have the Phillies here, but they'll be in London, which is really cool. The London series will be having a 2-game set with those stinking Mets. So if you guys aren't going to London, which I am actually jealous if you are going, but if you're not going to London, we got you covered here. Because on Sunday, we have the watch party, all right? At 9 a.m. at Gall & Co. in Port Richmond here. You'll have in Bloody Marys with the Bro. We have Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli, John Foley as well from the PHLY's Phillies team as we watch the Phillies and the Mets in Game 2 there. We got Miller Lite specials. We're going to be giving away some tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. You might even see me as well. So if you got nothing going on here this upcoming Sunday for the game, consider hanging out with us here at PHLY. That's what we got going on here, cuz.
All right, my boys. Appreciate it, brothers. All right, time foul for the Clubhouse.
Whoa.
Cuz' Clubhouse.
You see who just walked in?
Jules.
Yeah, she's sporting some fresh slides.
Dude, look at those.
Ones we haven't seen before.
Oh, my.
The blue.
They're new ones. She's got blue Philly slides.
They're
This is
sure,
about.
I like
This is
those.
like her
Love
12th
it.
pair of Philly
How
slides.
many Philly slides do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4.
She's
Four?
got 4
Man.
pairs of Philly slides. I have 2 pairs of slides.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Period.
I don't have any.
I got one.
You got one. She's got 4 just Phillies. Do you have any other ones too?
I have a couple other ones that are non-sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have to dress up.
Yeah, she's got the slides.
It's impressive.
It is
I love it.
impressive. Oh my God.
Comfortable.
Oh man, that's impressive.
Her and the Bro, always with the dogs out.
Right?
Yeah,
That's the truth.
yeah.
And the bro, but the bro wears the thumb.
They make that
Love the
slapping
song.
noise when you
Yeah.
walk with them. Like,
Yeah. Yes. I hate that.
horrible.
And by the way, I don't understand the thumb. Right?
I hate that, but I hate anything between my toes.
Yeah, like why would you want that
Yeah.
between yourself? You got the slides, like that's what I
Picking
like
the
the
toe
slides.
cheese.
Remember, he was hustling the one day he had a bathroom emergency. He was like, slap, 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 slap. You just heard as he
my
ran
God.
through the office.
Isn't that wild?
He loves the thong slides.
By the way, the breaking news: the
chocolate.
Padres, Tucupita Marcano. You might have seen his in the box score. Marcano, Marcano.
Okay.
He lifetime ban for betting on baseball.
You see the rest of that story? Jose Rodriguez of the Phillies? He gets banned for a year. The guy made $749 in wagers. Is that worth risking a year of development?
Is that unbelievable?
Like, come on. I mean, I know they don't get paid anything, but
$749.
It's like Porter's brother with the Raptors. He was running a whole Ponzi scheme now. Jeez Louise.
Yes.
I don't get risking the career.
Yeah.
I
seriously.
don't understand it. I
Yeah.
don't understand
Just
it.
tarnish your
No.
whole career.
Yep.
It's crazy. All right, Clubhouse time. Best and worst of the evening. And of course, VG's Nugs. There's the man in the box. There's the answer. Look at that
What's
hat.
going on?
Look at that. He's ready.
He's an
PGA,
aristocrat.
man. I'm ready.
He is a fancy guy with the PGA Tour hat.
Yeah, he's an aristocrat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, best and worst. Let's go worst of the
Oh,
night.
we're going worst? All right.
Yes,
I'm
worst of the night. What do you got, JP?
All right, listen. Curious your guys' thoughts on this. All right, I love Dave Dole's moment last night. Big game, right? But I have a little beef with wearing number 35. This is like, wait, we had Oscar Mercado wearing it, Drew Ellis wearing 35. To me personally, like, I don't understand why people are still wearing 35. To me, I think of Cole Hamels. Like, should we not retire this number for Cole Hamels? And I said the same thing too with the longest time with the Birds, because I felt like 36 should not have been worn yet. I was a big Brian Westbrook guy. He was a big part of those teams as well. But you guys' thoughts on a player like the level of Cole Hamels, and we're giving out the 35 to, David Dole, who got just called up.
I say no.
Okay.
I don't fit. I love Cole, but like you got to be Hall of Fame to retire the number.
Okay.
I think we got to be special. I think sometimes we over celebrate. Like, and to me, the retired number has to be the epic figure.
Who would you retire from those teams though? The 08, 09, 10. Jimmy.
6. Howard, right?
I don't know.
You don't do Howard?
I don't know. It's a short period of time. Now it's not his fault because he was blocked by Tomey, right? I think Jimmy's epic and Chase.
Just think of that
You
08
go
World
Chase?
Series,
You
man.
retire
I mean,
Chase?
Jimmy's a lock, but Chase
I think Chase, yeah.
is close.
I
go
think we tend to overrate Chase a little bit.
I mean, he was an engine, bro.
He was.
He was the engine.
Trace Utley, you
No,
want
I mean, you can't go Chooch because then you got to go. Then you have to go.
Yeah,
Hamels.
it's everybody. Then you got.
Then you got.
Fly Hawaiian.
I got to go Peace before.
Yeah, I mean,
Chooch.
Peace over Chooch
I'm going
for
Cole.
sure.
But I mean, you said Hall of Fame. Is Chase sniffing the Hall of Fame?
mean,
I think
he's
Jimmy's
on the
borderline.
steps. Jimmy's in front of him.
Yes.
So Jimmy to me is the only lock.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then you could talk. And then to me, Chase would be 2.
Dave P's calling for Rhys's number to be retired.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
good.
should have done that last night.
But like that's the difficulty when we talk about retired numbers.
That's a tough team, though.
It's like I never would have retired. People were talking about retiring McNabb's number.
Ah.
That happened too quick. That was my thing.
And I would not have done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
5 is a weird number in general in football. Just, I don't know, especially for a quarterback. So who cares,
He was.
No, but I
don't
wouldn't
care
have
if I
retired
see
the
5
number.
again.
I just, again, that number, like you retire a number, you got to be like this epic.
So you don't think
yeah.
we should have retired McNabb's number at all? My problem
No.
was it happened too quickly.
No, I don't think I would not have retired his number. Nope.
36?
I love B West. I mean, I retired B West number before I retired McNabb's number.
I retired Randall before
So would I.
Donovan's number.
Yeah, I would too.
We give 36 to like some scrubs too. That's what pisses me
Didn't
off.
Corey Clement? Didn't he?
No, he was 30.
He was 30?
But
But you want to talk trash on Corey Clement with that catch in the Super Bowl?
Local.
No, I'm not
Low
saying
key
anything
Brown,
about it.
man.
Just saying, did he have to-
I love
Yeah, what are you
Corey.
anti?
Come on,
Was that
bro.
a catch,
Anti
though?
Herb? He
Was
does
that a
man
catch?
down South Street with the windows blasted, the windows open. Come on.
So
That's good.
what's your worst?
I mean, I wish I was creative enough to come with something additional, but the playing of that song for me of Rhys last night was the worst, and I just can't get past that.
You hate the song.
I hate playing.
You hate the song.
I do hate the song, but I hated them
but
playing
I'm
it.
trying to figure out, does the song itself trump the hate of the moment?
They've only
Because you hate that
they've
song.
only done it for one other player, and Rhys just isn't in that stratosphere for me. He's not a champion, and he's not Chase level. So I think it devalues the moment we had for Chase.
All right.
All right. I didn't like the song, but I did like the moment. The amount of tweets I've seen as well. Everyone bringing up the career batting average on Twitter, the 242. Like,
Yeah,
it's
He's an OBP guy.
Yeah, but it's also like about what he meant to the team. Obviously,
Yeah.
listen, he didn't have the greatest batting
it's
average.
funny. I told you, I read you, a text message from my buddy last night.
Right.
Who was like, dude, I drove to the airport. What's that about? And again, it's like the vibes, and I totally understand the vibes. Like it's like that's why Citizens Bank Park is the greatest place in the area.
To those people saying that, like, where were you with the bat spike? That didn't get you fired up at all?
Oh, that was awesome.
That
Yeah,
got
of
me.
course, you're not human if it didn't get you fired.
Yeah,
up.
like,
I mean, that'll look like again, and he was homegrown.
exactly.
And he rolled through it. I mean,
Played through some
again,
trash Phillies teams.
Yeah, like I like listen, I'm all for it. Like
Because going in
love-
yesterday, you were a little like, it's Rhys. Then you got caught up in it last
I
night.
was swept up in it.
Must have been the
swept up.
Benadryl. Benadryl softened you up last night.
Yeah,
Dude,
seriously.
Benadryl got you the Hoskins high.
I'm on this Benadryl right now. Oh my god, I feel like
Happy cause on the Benadryl.
I stopped at Rite Aid.
Hey.
Yeah, nice.
God, I had to stock up on the allergy stuff.
Did you get the stuff that I told you
I
about?
got all the stuff.
You gotta tell me how it works.
In fact, it's funny. I was like in a mess, right? I texted Jules. I go, Jules, what's that stuff you get? Oh man, no. But going to the S, I was like, yeah, whatever. I was kind of like, didn't really care one way or another. I was swept up in it.
Yeah.
I was
definitely
up.
happy to see it.
And
but-
I always liked Rhys. I thought, listen, there was no place for him because you can't have two DHs. You can't have Schwarber
They have like
Rhys.
4 DHs with this squad.
Well, yeah. Especially, but Bryce turns out to be a really good first baseman, the whole thing. So it's obviously he's got to go. But I actually liked his approach. He had he was streaky, but he had a great eye, he'd work a count. And I thought they missed him during that run, particularly those games 6 and 7 against Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he would have had a big hit one of those games.
Oh,
Turn it around for us.
No, I think he was deserving of this series. I mean, like you said, VG, earlier on in the show, like he didn't get the send-off last year. He was supposed to come back. It was all that talk about the World Series. He never really got that. So this is kind of his send-off from last year is this series. But after this, it's stopped.
Tonight we boo, VJ.
No. Give him this series.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
You get the series. Get the series. All right. Best.
All right, Best. I love this because I love when people who watch the show interact with us. So Nick Santangelo tweeted at us, at Anthony L. Gargano. So remember we were talking about relocating the Panthers and the Lightning. Well, he brought up a good topic of discussion. He said that they should move the Panthers and the Lightning to either, he gives us some options, Baltimore, Portland, OKC, or Milwaukee. So I ask you guys, any sport, if you guys can have an expansion or relocation, what sport, what city deserves a team today?
I mean, I want Seattle to have a basketball team.
Yeah. It's long overdue. That's a good one, too. Yeah. Great. The great brand,
I do
Supersonics.
like hockey in Milwaukee.
I agree.
It seems like a town that should have a hockey team.
Yeah, isn't Wisconsin big on hockey too?
Yeah. Have they ever had one?
I don't
Not
think
that
so.
I know.
I remember when we were kids at the Cleveland, the Barons.
Yeah.
I don't remember them.
Yeah.
Cleveland Barons.
And the Golden Seals.
Yeah, I remember the Golden
California,
Seals.
Yeah. But I don't remember Milwaukee, right?
Milwaukee screams hockey.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
you would
I
think.
agree. Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
Solid
Do some
sports
beer
state, right?
theme team, you know?
Yeah.
Beer team.
Yeah. Like chuggers. I don't know.
Who would deserve a football team?
That doesn't
NFL
have
team.
one yet.
Ooh, good question.
You know?
I mean, listen, only because I was just there in the fall. Austin loves their football, and obviously Texas is big, and Austin's becoming a very.
You're not
big
that far from
metropolitan.
Dallas, though.
I know.
Too
but
many teams.
It's becoming. I mean, did you say the same about California?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. But Austin's still close to Dallas. It's not that far.
Only
from
because of just the growth and just the football love. That's one that I always look at. But yeah, I mean, I feel like NFL would work in a lot of different, even like the media markets as well.
I'm actually surprised Columbus doesn't have a football team.
We got
with
Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, so Cincinnati's like a small market compared to Columbus. It's odd to me.
Would you be in on them moving to Toronto in Canada?
Yeah.
In the Canadian market.
Yeah, you want a Canadian team?
Yeah, I think they should.
I'd rather have
Toronto's
it.
huge.
I'd rather go Calgary or Edmonton or cold. than
Yeah, that would be
Toronto.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I would expand into Canada and have a couple. And then the other thing too is, would you be opposed to having the European division?
No, I'm out on that.
Oh, that's too much travel for the
I
teams.
I mean, anything that gives me an excuse to get the peg into Europe, I'm all right with.
A European
Jags are
league.
trying to move them to London. Yeah, Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's 6 hours to get to Seattle, it feels like.
Exactly.
What's the
Jeez,
difference?
yeah, that is not a bad point.
All right, what do you got? What's your best?
David Dahl, his interview last night, I got a picture of him. He was just smiling and grinning. He was never
loving it.
experienced
He was loving it.
anything
like,
like
God,
this.
I'm in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Thank God I'm in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and it's like the greatest moment of his career. I mean, he doesn't have a long
He got
story.
standing
There he is.
ovation.
There he is during the postgame.
Look at that.
He was like
Look at
that the
that smile.
entire interview. He
Keep-
was
keep
just
me up, guys.
loving life.
Ear to ear.
Yeah. That
That
was
is freaking
It was
cool.
good to see him. You know, he had an okay year or two. struggled.
Injuries, right?
Yeah, it's good to see him come back and experience that.
Well, Matt said, he talked about his David Dahl's experience there out in the outfield, and so he was surprised at just like the reaction, standing ovation, like he's never felt anything like that.
And we talked about the clubhouse.
vibes.
He had mentioned, I come in, I'm welcomed by everybody. It's like, let's go, help us win.
Just good
that's
vibes,
Schwarber, man. Schwarber's the man.
Yes,
I have to say, man, he's the man. Schwarber is.
He's awesome.
It's been more this year that reporters and people inside the clubhouse are saying, like, Schwarber is the clubhouse guy.
Yeah.
Might make a Stubbs expendable.
You could get rid of the
Get my
DJ.
boy Raphael
The
Marshall
house
up here.
DJ. You can't get rid of. All right, BG, time for your nugs.
Yo, happy National Cheese Day.
Oh, man.
About
Cheese
that.
Day?
Yeah. You're not a cheese man? You going to crap on the cheese?
No, that's all
Little
right.
mozzarella.
Yeah, so America.
Mozzarella.
Americans, what do you think their favorite cheese is?
It's the
American
Kraft singles.
What is the most popular cheese in America? What do we buy or consume more of?
American
what
cheese.
brand? American cheese
Kraft.
is not in the top 3.
Really?
Really?
Mozzarella.
Really?
It's probably because of pizza. Here's a pie chart, but it's mozzarella, then cheddar, then Swiss, then provolone.
Okay.
And then some random other ones.
What's the American cheese?
I don't know. That must be just lumped in with something else.
That's just for breakfast sandwiches.
Good melting cheese.
It is a good melting cheese. That's about it.
Well, I'm a fan of the Swiss.
You like
do
the
like the
Swiss?
Swiss.
I
the
like a
Swiss.
I like the
Swiss.
Swiss.
What are your top 3 power ranking cheeses?
I gotta go mozzarella,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mozzarella, number one. I would go Swiss too.
Swiss too?
Yeah, I'm a Swiss
Man.
man.
You're not a
pervy guy?
Like on sandwiches, or you just get the block of Swiss, cut it with crackers?
Yeah. Cut it thick.
Oh, I
Wow.
love that.
Provolone.
This mustard.
You know what? The stinky cheese. I'm scarred from the stinky cheese.
Oh, what happened to you?
The sharp provolone that my mother would send. When you go to school, she would make sandwiches, right? So you would
Send you with
send-
the sharp rove?
Yeah, and when you're in 7th, 8th grade,
Yeah.
you can't eat that. So she would just get mad at me, go, you never, and she would wrap it in this saran wrap, right? And I would it stunk. Like you can't send a 7th and 8th grader
No.
to school with the stinky cheese.
No.
Oh, man, that's bad.
Stinky
And
nothing.
I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
You can't
Stinky
eat it.
cheese.
I wouldn't
Did you
even
have a-
open the
did you have-
bag
did you have a-
because you would smell.
Was there a fridge or a cooler?
No.
You got cheese
Oh,
sitting out for
sitting
like
out.
3-4 hours?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was hard.
Mom tried
Stick it in your
off
cubby
you.
or your
Yeah.
locker?
And then I started, I hate to say it, I would throw it out.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
She would every day she'd the casserole with the sharp provolone and the prosciutto or the salami.
You were throwing this out?
Well, I mean, not all the time.
I know, but
I mean,
I get it. Like,
It was
because trust me, I
fun.
get it.
I was a child.
That sounds so good, though.
I mean,
want
now, who cares, right? But back then, I just say, don't, I don't, I
You
won't
can't
eat.
open that in the classroom or the lunchroom.
No.
Oh, yeah. You're done.
Pack that
It's
on.
bad.
Just say, Mom, no cheese.
Right. No,
I'm surprised. I thought you'd go a little fancy with the cheese selections.
I like it. I like all kinds of. I do.
Oh, yeah, I like all cheese, though.
Yeah.
Cheese is great.
Mbappe, let me know. Is this guy good in soccer?
Oh yeah.
He's like
Even
the
I know
future.
that.
He's the future.
Mbappe and Halana, the future of the
Is
sport.
he one of the best players in the world?
Yeah, he's about to get paid.
He's about to get paid. He's making 16.2 mil average after taxes.
Yeah.
You know
Wow.
who makes more than that? Taiwan Walker.
Oh,
he makes
my.
18 mil a year. Like, come on. Mbappe's not even making Taiwan money. How great can
That's
this kid
wild.
be?
Dude, that's insane.
That's good, VG. That's good.
It's wild, right?
He might not
That
be the
is
best.
wild.
He might not be the best player on that team, though.
I will
Vinny
say this
Jr.
year, that front line's going to be ridiculous.
Vinny Jr. is
Vinicius
really good.
Jr.
Yeah.
from Brazil. Ugh, Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what
Insanely
they're
good.
saying.
I know.
These kids this day with the soccer.
These kids in their soccer.
Hey, there's a lot of static and tension and stuff going on about Caitlin Clark and
man.
WNBA and who hates her, who doesn't. There's an interesting thing if you look at the stats of the attendance from this weekend. The games without Caitlin Clark, the highest attended was 10,000. The lowest was 3,200. We have like 4,000, 7,000. The games Caitlin Clark played in, 17-2 and 17-4 in attendance. So there's obviously something going on with her in the draw.
Yeah, she's captivated an audience.
Yes.
But I thought it was Angel Reese too, VJ.
I mean, I don't know if she played in any of those games that didn't draw.
I mean, obviously she's a phenomenon. Every once in a while, there's a phenomenon, right? And when it comes to sports, sometimes it has to do with being different, with being whether race will always play a certain part in something interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have now Tiger was great, but Tiger was interesting because here was someone of color on a white tour, right? Like that's kind of how it works. So this is the reverse of that. Right. Also, the fact is she was hyped up in college, right? And she could shoot the ball. Mm-hmm. So because she was this big draw, of course, people are going to pay attention. She became a phenomenon.
She broke like every record.
Yeah.
I
don't think there's malice in it. I don't think it has to do with racial malice as much as people are interested in her.
I think what it is with Caitlin Clark, a lot of people like to compare her to Michael Jordan, which I'm not a big fan of. But one thing that is a little bit similar is that Caitlin comes into this league and she's obviously super polarizing with her play, right? I think she is bringing up the play of everybody. Everyone's talking about this rookie class, right? But everyone wants to chase after Caitlin Clark and wants a piece of some of that clout, as we should say, as the young kids would say. So I think Caitlin coming in here is polarized for the fact that everybody wants to be part of it. Kind of like Michael in the early 90s. Everybody wanted to get to Michael's level. Everyone wanted to beat Michael Jordan. I feel like people want to beat Caitlin.
Similarities, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I see no similarities. Jordan, the Jordan phenomenon was because he was great. And it didn't happen until he started to win.
He was a dog, too.
Were people targeting him, too? Kind of like how she feels right now in the rookie year?
No.
People looking a little physical with Michael?
No, I mean, there was always the Jordan rules came into effect later on. But Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan his rookie year.
It was a slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
As a kid, that was everyone wanted the sneakers because of that slam dunk contest.
But in reality, he started winning. Remember, he didn't win.
Yeah.
Like the Pistons
5 or 6 years.
I don't see the similarities. And the other thing that's goofy is all of a sudden, like Stephen A had to come out yesterday and talk about, I was in the beginning of women's sports and all that. Like, well, I don't even know why. And then you have people going, well, no, you weren't. And, now everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. Well, who cares? She became a phenomenon. So that's why you're garnering the attention. Yeah. Without Caitlin Clark, do you think the WNBA is getting the attention it is? Hell no.
Nope.
It's been a big year for them.
So if you're a part of the WNBA, why don't you embrace it?
Yeah.
Instead of castigating media people for jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, the gatekeeping's got to stop, guys.
It's the most ridiculous, short-sighted narrative. Give me a break.
Well, I mean,
enjoy the sunlight.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if it's going to last.
Yeah.
No, but you know what it is, because like I deal with this with the MLS, right? Because look, we need these sports to get popular because of this fact only. I want these players to have long careers. I want them to feed their families as well. The fact that Caitlin Clark, who we are all talking about her being one of the big players, is making like 70, she's gonna make $90,000 a year by year 4. That's nothing to what she's doing for this league right now. So if you continue the popularity, more money's gonna come in. And they're going to get paid the way that they are deserved. That's why the gatekeeping's got to stop, in my opinion.
It's not productive. It doesn't help the sport. It doesn't help anything. Anything that's being gatekeeped in life.
And let's not use the word deserve, all right? The market dictates salary.
It's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
That's what you only deserve what you get paid with what the market dictates. If the market dictates that they're generating X amount of revenue, then you deserve a piece of that revenue.
Okay.
It's like we talked about with at Nebraska, right? Like we had Sean Padden, who's the GM. Well, college football, kids deserve to get paid, right? Because the exorbitant amount of TV contracts that come their way to college football, those kids deserve a piece of it. It's the same thing. If the WNBA or any other sport, MLS, only gets X amount, then you only get X amount because that's what it's generating.
We'll have Vince later on here to give us the numbers of the popularity of WNBA.
Resident WNBA expert.
I know.
Hey, you'll like this. Justin Fields, he put out a little Instagram photo of him in Steelers gear. and I'm a little confused. What are these pants he's wearing? They're like softball.
They're shorts are coming off.
Can we talk about the
softball coach
pants?
shorts with pads in them.
Oh my God.
Can we get a cup? Can we get a cup going in those pants too? Because there's a lot of revealing happening in those pants.
Are you a fan of this look?
That's a lot of revealing.
No. What is going on?
It's Hoochie Daddy short season, boys.
Yeah.
What in the world is that?
I mean,
Put it away.
he's showing off the big thighs, but is that an official Pittsburgh football pant they're wearing for training
that's a
camp
good
or
point.
for the season? They're shorts with thigh pads in them.
I do personally like the short pants. I do like that, but come on, man, put a cup on.
Don't you want to
Wait,
Nobody
you
needs it.
like the short pants?
I like the short pants. I think it looks good.
Man.
Yeah.
I like that.
Don't you have to wear knee pads, though, right?
I would think I'd want my knees protected from plastic of helmets and shoulder
it's just
pads.
an
I would
NFL
think.
logo on the side there.
But couldn't you
Wow.
put the pad like in the whatever he's wearing underneath?
Yeah, we know Fraser's triggered by this lack of cup action.
know.
You know? He's obsessed with the junk of Justin Fields here. Like what's happening?
That's good. That was good, VJ.
Oh,
man, dude.
So we heard you the third time.
Yeah,
No, I'm talking about the knee pads.
Hold on, let me
No,
zoom in on the
no,
midsection
no,
here
no,
for
no,
Fraser.
knee pads.
I'm talking about no junk there.
Man, a cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
come on.
fabulous.
Cup it up.
All right.
Cup it up.
Speaking of weird things, man, you ever hear of a pizza? I can't even say it without
Pizza.
You're gonna love
like a
this,
foot
dude.
fetish.
man, there's pineapple pizza. How about a pizza
cuz.
shaped like a foot
Guys,
It's Jamie's
with some
feet and
extra
thongs.
stinky cheese on it?
they did it to the pizza.
What are they doing? Why are they killing a freaking pizza? A pizza.
a pizza.
Are you gotta be kidding me? Why would you possibly invent that?
That's definitely German. You can tell by the
By what?
the title.
By the Funyuns?
Krampus
yes.
und Papa Wolf und Krampus
Ooh, the
und.
pizza.
Tell the Germans to stay away from pizza.
Take a bite of that.
There's a
All
German
right.
feet.
Take a bite.
Hey, at least there's no pineapple on it, guys.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I think you just search on
No.
Twitter if you can't see us pizza, FETCA. Should pop up.
Pizza.
Terrible.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
That is
Oh, man.
brutal.
The pizza.
Man.
Talk about sticky.
Yeah,
Oh
little
my
stinky
god!
little
cheese.
sharp probe on there.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
I don't make your day.
All right, well,
But you have it back in the day.
I do have a back in the day. I
Yeah.
got one more plus a back in the day. You want
All
to
right.
do back in the day now?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So Rhys, when he came on first called up, he had 11 home runs in his first 18 games, which tied a Major League Baseball record.
Wow.
And no player in MLB history has reached 9, 10, or 11 home runs faster than Rhys Hoskins.
Wow, I remember.
Take
Remember? That's wild.
on
By
a
the way,
tear.
that's a great back in the day moment.
That's awesome.
Back in the day moment brought to you by Rite Aid. Find all your favorite goods from the store nearest you. Did you remember when he was out of his
fire
mind
when he
was on
came
fire?
out.
It was
Cue the
wild.
song.
It was wild.
Cue the song, VG.
Ah, Calvin Harris. All right, before we get out of here, there's hope for everyone. The lady in hospice, she passed away. They put her to the funeral home, and they found her breathing as they started to work on her at the funeral home.
Oh my God! What?
She was 74 years old. Hospice patient, 74, thought to be dead, found alive in a funeral home. This is this is
terrible.
in the New York
Wow,
Post
man.
today. Wild, right?
Oh
you
my
imagine?
God! She was breathing. Could
Yeah,
you
they gave her
imagine?
CPR, and like she's alive and at the hospital now.
She's alive.
She was just
Yeah,
taking a longer nap than usual.
Yes, she's alive
Oh
now.
my God!
That'd be
That's
scary
wild.
shit,
Yeah.
man.
There's
Oh
always
my
stories
God.
that come out like that. Like you're at a
Yeah.
funeral and then you
Yeah.
hear like banging on, you know. It's like,
Yeah. Oh my God! That's your worst nightmare.
who's working on these people?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, double check.
Uncle Pat, I thought you were dead.
Talk about that. Talk about freaking you out on the side of you.
Pops open like,
Oh my God! It's insane.
Provolone
good.
John. Now at Little Caesars. Pizza.
oh man.
$5 only.
Pizza.
That does sound like a little Caesar's
That's
pizza.
terrible. I know. That's funny.
Pizza.
I know.
They give you the
Pizza,
marinara. They give you the marinara for the toes.
Oh man.
That's horrible.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, good stuff, VG's Nugs. That'll do it for today. Everybody, have a great, great day. We love you guys. And go Phils. We'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.